guys, thanks so much for joining me for this episode of the Being Beautifully Honest podcast. So I'm going to play these clips, and the clips are going to be from Wendy Williams and from Nene Leakes. And there's been some tension out there regarding some things that were said by Wendy Williams, and to be honest with you guys, I don't think it's that big of a deal, and I'll just share my thoughts why. And so let's just play these clips and then let's get into it.
I have to share something with you.
Okay.
And all of my co-hosts. So on Friday evening, I was in the house minding my own business, and the 10 o'clock news was on. You know, from 10 to 11, I watched the news, and then 11 o'clock, I changed to Seinfeld. It's a routine. I love it. So my phone rings shortly after 10 o'clock. Wendy! It's Nene. Okay. Wendy! I said, hi, Nene, why are you screaming? And why are we on speakerphone? Your house is big enough. We don't have to be on, what are you doing? So she said, Wendy, I miss seeing you. So she's like, what you doing? I was like, I'm watching the 10 o'clock news and then Seinfeld, and then I'm gonna go to sleep and probably wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and watch more TV. She said, girl, I said, yes, Nene, why are you talking so loud? She said, I'm here with all my people. Everybody, tell Wendy hi. I hear a bunch of, Norman, I hear a bunch of people in the background, how you doing and hiing and stuff like that. Nene goes, let's get on FaceTime. Norman, now you know, I don't have face or time for FaceTime, right. Period. Right. If I don't do it with my own parents or the show, why would I be doing it for somebody over there? You know, right. Which I like Nene, but she's still an over there person to me. And I felt, honestly, here's where the ambush comes in. She said, Wendy, she said, look, she was in hair, makeup, and wardrobe with all her people, right? She said, we filming, and I want you to be on the speaker. I said, Nene, I did that for you one time. You asked me to. Remember my appearance, Norman? One time. And I made it very clear. I am not a housewife. Sorry, my career is a bit different than being a housewife. I don't need that kind of attention. And quite frankly, and then I hung up on her. I hung up. I was I'm not here for this, and I hung up. She never called back and apologized. No. Because here's protocol, right? When you call somebody and you want them to participate in something, you call them off speaker in the other room first. Wendy, you know, I want to record with you. Do you think you could? And I would have still said, no, Nene, I am not a housewife. Like, I know I make this look easy, and I know I have my ratchet ways, but the fact is that I worked 35 years of my life to sit here for 11 seasons at this. All right, look, it's a full motion picture behind the scenes, okay? I'm not slumming by being, you know, some add-on out of a suitcase for some housewives. And yeah, for me, that is slumming. Norman? I mean, for where I am, Norman, you see the day-to-day operation of our show.
Right. It's a whole thing.
So anyway, I hung up on her, and she never called me ahead of time to ask me, and I would have said no. She never called after or even texted to apologize, and I still haven't heard from her. And now here we are on Monday. That was Friday. So you know what? I would love to know what Wendy watchers think about this, because as far as I'm concerned, I don't want to do anything. She's seeing it right now. You better not use any of that footage, Bravo.
All right, so you've heard the clips, and so here are my thoughts. I asked the question for the episode, is Nene beneath Wendy? Now, that really is a little bit of a joke, because it's not nice to say, you know, someone is beneath you or below you or whatever. But when Wendy said she doesn't need to be slumming it over at the Real Housewives, that is what can be perceived as slumming it. And, you know, Wendy basically saying, you know, Housewives is beneath me. I'm not going to be a part of that. But actually, It was a suggestion, and it was even thrown out there before with the Real Housewives of New York City. As you guys may or may not know, who don't watch the show or who do watch the show, I haven't watched the Real Housewives of New York City in several seasons. I didn't watch it from the very beginning because I just wasn't interested in it, but in later seasons I started to watch it, and then I just kind of fell off from watching it because I just really didn't care anymore. But the Real Housewives of New York City has never had anyone who was not pretty much Caucasian. And so there was a thought that maybe Wendy Williams could be one of the cast members on the Real Housewives of New York City because she lives in New York. At the time, she was a wife, even though it really doesn't matter these days about you being a housewife on these shows, because they really should call the shows the real entrepreneurs of whatever city it is, because it doesn't matter. They're really not housewives for the most part, unless it's someone maybe that's new on the Real Housewives of Orange County or possibly the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, where they're married to someone who is exceptionally rich or wealthy and they're, getting their part to be on the show because of that, and they have that connection. But I digress. Wendy was like, no, I'm not going to be a housewife. So even with the thought being thrown out there about her being a Real Housewife of New York City, she felt the same way. It was like, why am I going to be a Real Housewife? Like, that's just not who I am. That's not what I do. I am Wendy Williams. I am this person that built this amazing platform on radio for many, many years. Controversial nonetheless. She was either loved or hated, but either way she was who she was. And then she was able to break into network television and have her Wendy Williams show, which has been on for several seasons. And yeah, she's been not without controversy because she said some things that were seen as out of pocket or rude, or how could she go there, and, in different situations and circumstances. But I just believe Wendy is who she is, whether it's the drinking or the substance abuse or the cheating husband, and just kind of being not really in denial, but not wanting to really discuss her own personal business. Because I can imagine that if it is your life to talk about other people's business, you really don't want to talk about your own. And it's not so much that you are living in a fantasy world or you're living a lie. It's just like you live your life talking about other people so much that why am I going to sit and talk about my own personal junk to everybody else? But it made people, I guess, respect her a little bit more when she was finally able to just admit and fess up to the world that, look, the marriage that I was in for a long time, it is not working out. It probably wasn't working out for a long time, and now I'm deciding to get out of it. You guys are going to know about it. Yeah, there was some situations involved with my now, soon to be ex-husband at the time, because now they are officially divorced, him making a family with somebody else and living a lie with me. And there's some stories out there that says she knew all about it. I am one of those people that feels like we women have an intuition. Sometimes I call it the Holy Spirit. It's just what is embedded in you to give you the knowledge of what is going on that is not in your eyesight, that you can pick up and you can perceive and you can detect when something just is off and something isn't right. And then sometimes women choose to just ignore. They choose to give that person what we call the benefit of the doubt and just ignore it and just move on from it and not address it because you want to just keep moving on with your life and your lifestyle. But sometimes things just get to the point where you just cannot continue to do that anymore. And it got to that point with Wendy. So I'm saying all of these things right now about Wendy Williams is because she just kind of is who she is. And she's in her 50s. People rarely change when they get older, guys. I mean, look at the president of the United States. He is who he is. You love him, you hate him. He is who he is. He is in his late 70s or early 70s, mid 70s. I don't know. He's in his 70s and he ain't going to change. He is who he is. So people rarely change. People just kind of are who they are. And even Charlemagne, who's on the Breakfast Club, said this too. And I want to play this clip so you can hear what he had to say about Wendy, because he worked with her for a long time and he's actually where I am from. I'm not from Moncks Corner, South Carolina, but I am from South Carolina. And so I'm just going to play that clip of what he said and then I'll get back into it and what he said about Wendy Williams.
I watched that in real time yesterday.
How was it?
They not petty. It was cool. I mean, they not petty. It's just the fact that that's Wendy Williams. Like, if you're gonna be friends with Wendy Williams, you have to expect that you will be content for her.
Yeah, but
and honestly,
I didn't like how he was. I didn't like how she was doing her voice, and then also talking about her show and saying she's not slumming it and all of that. I thought it was a little condescending.
I mean, listen, I asked Nene when she was here on the Breakfast Club, how could you trust Wendy Williams? And that's a prime example of what I'm talking about. Because, Wendy went on TV and told all Nene's business when Nene confided in her, right? And then Wendy went and told her business. But then when Nene turns around and puts her on Instagram Live, she gets mad and uses Nene as content again.
But this is FaceTime, though.
Here's what Nene had to say about Wendy on the Breakfast Club.
I'm very joyful. It's hard. She needs to sign an NDA.
I don't know. That's just a weird relationship. Not to mention, like you said, it's hard to be friends with someone when that friend thinks your job is slumming. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing if they're telling you, like, look, you can do better. You don't have to do this. But Jesus Christ, she's been doing it for 13 years?
Yeah.
Don't look down on the housewives. Don't look down on the housewives and then hang out with one.
All right, so you guys heard that. Now, here's the thing. When Wendy did what she did, even though this was her show on, it's playing on television, but because of the self-isolation orders and the stay at home and stay in place or quarantine or whatever, they're calling it because of the COVID right now, she is recording from home. And even though this is her television show, I don't feel that she is taking it as 100% seriously as she does when she is actually in the studio and she is coming out on the stage and she has the audience in front of her. Yeah, I know she said some stupid things out of pocket on the actual show before, but that has not happened. It's not every single time that she has done that. So that's not generally who she is all the time, where she's just always saying something out of pocket. Even though for some people that is the topic of discussion that she's talking about, they may beg to differ. But I believe that Wendy in that moment, she was just feeling like she was having a conversation with Norman, the guy that is a part of the show, but because they weren't on the stage and in the studio, she just kind of perceived it as I'm having this conversation with Norman. Yeah, some of the things that she said was not seen as very nice, where she was saying that, I am not slumming it on the Housewives, so it makes it seem like anybody who is a real housewife of whatever city on Bravo, they are essentially slumming and they're just trying to climb the ladder of opportunity. But I mean, let's just be honest. When this show first came out, that's how a lot of people looked at the Real Housewives. Nene has said it before, other housewives have said it before, especially with the Atlanta franchise, when they would have opportunities to either host gigs or be a host at a club or, whatever type of opportunities they were getting outside of being a Real Housewife of Atlanta or Potomac or, whatever franchise it was. Years ago, people looked at the Real Housewives in that way. They didn't look at them very seriously. And then years later, you started to get like the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and these people were already uber wealthy. And so they started to look at them a little bit differently. And then over time, they started to get other opportunities and they started to be able to rub their elbows and shoulders and kneecaps and hips and all that other stuff with actual celebrities, because then you had the Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen, which we all know that he is a media whore. I'm just being honest. I feel like he is. I feel like he's messy. And so that talk show platform that he created, that was more of a platform for him in the beginning to just get more recognition and to have his face more out there. And then over the years, other celebrities would start to come on the show and it started to go up in its popularity. But look, people use people. That's just what they do. So celebrities would start to go on that show to promote their movies, to promote their TV shows, to promote whatever it is that they had that was coming out, because the views were there. Trust me, if the views weren't there, if the audience wasn't there, they wouldn't have been going on there. But because the Watch What Happens Live started to happen in the beginning, where it was just mainly so-called Bravo celebrities that would be guests on the show, it was just an opportunity really for Andy Cohen to be more noticed, and also to have franchises meet and connect with others that they normally may not would have. So with Wendy saying that, she's not slumming it on the Housewives, I feel like that's coming from a genuine place. Whether some people feel like it's not nice, or it's rude, or it's nasty, or how dare she say that. Because trust me, I'm not capping for Nene or Wendy. I am not on either side. I'm just stating my point of view based on what I am seeing in the situation. I feel like Wendy has always seen the Real Housewives in that way. That's just how she's always felt about it. And okay, yeah, it's gotten more popular, and the people on the show have been able to upgrade themselves a bit more. They've gotten more money. They've upgraded their living and their lifestyle, and had other opportunities that were created from being a housewife on the franchise. Wendy Williams has just always seen it that way. And as you heard Charlamagne say, she's always pretty much been a loner. And I get that. I understand that part, where I'm just generally a loner for the most part. And so she's just, when she's in her place of being a loner, which was in her house, even though it's the office in her house, she was just being who she normally and truly is. And I feel like it could have been better, and it may have turned out a little bit better, if Nene had just let Wendy know what was up in the beginning before she just had her on a live. But Wendy didn't know that. Wendy assumed that she was filming for the Real Housewives of Atlanta, and that there were other people in the place with her, and she felt like it was another opportunity that Bravo would have been using for the show. Because Wendy has been talked about negatively by Nene on the Real Housewives of Atlanta before, on an actual episode. So it's possible that Wendy Williams may have been remembering that too. It's possible. I don't know. But I digress. I don't think that Wendy and Nene are like true to, the blood friends. They both use each other. That's that lifestyle. That Hollywood stuff is so fake. So I don't even know why Nene's even getting in her feelings about it, because all of that stuff is just so fake. I just don't feel that unless you really genuinely connected with somebody many years before you both were in that industry, I don't think that it's that easy to really be true, genuine friends. It just comes across really fake, and I don't feel that Wendy is saying that Nene is beneath her. I just feel that Wendy is saying that, look, I worked really hard and long to get to where I am right now, and she's probably feeling like the people who are on the Real Housewives, for the most part, maybe not Candy, because we know she was a celebrity and had star status before she got on that show. But trust, the Real Housewives of Atlanta has definitely blown that up, and she's gotten way more opportunities because of the show, because she uses it as a marketing tool, period. End of story. Not hating on her, just saying what the truth is. She uses the Real Housewives of Atlanta as a marketing opportunity, and kudos to her that she was smart enough to be able to do that. But I don't believe Wendy feels like Nene is beneath her. I just feel like she feels that the Real Housewives franchise, period, not just the Housewives of Atlanta, but the entire franchise is beneath who she actually is, because she feels like, I am the person that talks about the Real Housewives. I'm not a housewife. I am the person that talks about Married to Medicine. I am not going to be on the Married to Medicine show. I am the person who discusses the celebrities, so I can't really be a friend to the celebrities because I have to keep those lines separate. So I just don't feel that she's feeling like Nene herself is beneath her. But I mean, it was kind of funny when Wendy was talking in what she was, perceiving as Nene's dialect or her slang or the whatever, guys, what I'm trying to say. What she was saying in her Nene voice with the inflections and that southern or down south way she was trying to imitate Nene. It was funny. I don't think that she was trying to say that Nene is beneath her and below her, but I can get why Nene would feel a little bit upset about it. But Nene kind of made that happen with the way it happened, because Nene was having a little bit of cocktails and she was on her live on her platform, and it was said that she did get a text message from Wendy Williams, so she just tried to call her, but she did say, like, look guys, I'm gonna call Wendy Williams on FaceTime, and Wendy wasn't having it. She did not accept the FaceTime, so she called her just on a regular call, and Wendy answered the phone, but she had her on speaker. So it just made Wendy feel a little bit like, what's up? What's going on? And honestly, when you have been betrayed by your own husband, I can imagine that it's kind of hard to trust anybody. That's just, I feel something that she's always going to struggle and deal with is the trust factor. So I just feel that it's not that Wendy feels Nene is beneath her, but she's just looking at herself in a different category as who she is and what she does versus what the Real Housewives of Atlanta do and how they operate. And that's that Hollywood celebrity lifestyle. Hey, they are the ones that created the A-list, B-list, C-list, D-list, Z-list. Like, that is what they do. They put people in these categories of who is on the A-list, who's in the in crowd, who can get in. Like, there was that era of the club scene where if your name was not on the list, you were not getting in. You could not get past the velvet rope. That's something that goes back to like Studio 54. And I remember seeing the unsung about Studio 54 and how, only the best of the best were able to get into Studio 54, which was just a hot ratchet mess anyway, because everybody in there was getting drugged and high and whatever. But that's another story. But yeah, that's that whole lifestyle. So I don't feel that Wendy is saying that Nene herself is beneath her, but that's just that Hollywood lifestyle. And then her just being a person that is trying to be to herself. And yeah, I feel like she would like to have some friends, but she's just always going to have that trust issue involved, because the person that she was with for many years before she even got famous and blew up, who she was with for all these years and had their child and all these different things, betrayed her trust and was living another life. He had a double lifestyle. So why would she just outright trust Nene Leakes? She doesn't know her that well. So that's not saying anything negative about Nene Leakes, not championing for Wendy. I'm just trying to share my point of view based on what I see, but you guys are welcome to share your thoughts. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section. Do you feel that Wendy was saying that Nene is beneath her, or do you feel that she was just saying, like, I'm just in a different category and I'm not trying to go there? And, just let me know how you guys feel about it. So thank you guys so much for joining me for this episode of the Being Beautifully Honest podcast. If you like this episode, please go ahead and hit the thumbs up and share and subscribe to the channel if you have not already done so, and hit the notifications bell so you know whenever I do upload a new video or podcast. So guys, this is the Minister of Beauty, here to share the Bible. That's business, inspiration, beauty, life, and enjoyment. And until next time, I hope you all have an amazingly blessed and beautiful day.